Alrighty. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see if I can hear me. There we go. You know what? Let me do something here. Then I'm going to mute myself. And then I am going to come in. Hello, guys. How you guys doing? Welcome to another edition of A Ray of Sunshine. And you might see it looks a little bit different today. Decided to plug on the OBS today and see how it will work. And yeah, I'd say I'm going to give StreamYard a break. So I always wanted to do this on OBS for a long time, but I've been having some technical issues. But now it seems like everything's working fine. So and then upgrade to another screen. So hopefully the show will go off with a success. Hey Sharon, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. So glad that you're here. And I'm so glad that everybody else is here today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're on an afternoon, and that's very rare. And usually I did start the show off on in the afternoons. Um, so it's kind of like a little bit of a comeback of coming on in the afternoons. But I had a little something to do last night, which pushed back the show to today. So hopefully we'll have some good people in here. If not, I'm pretty sure they'll catch the replay. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Sharon. Thank you so much. Now a little different here is I won't post comments on here like I do previously. So I have to rely on looking at my other screen here to look at comments now. So but other than that, same show. It's gonna be the same stories, the same videos. And after that, hopefully we'll get the show done by 6 o'clock. We will go say hi to Tim in the mental health hour, as it is Mental Health Wednesday. So I said I'll decide to kick it off to start the little train going on here. So we got me, we got Tim and Gemma at 6 o'clock with the mental health hour, and then Jim in Chicagoland will be on later at 10 p.m. with Catalyst. So Mental Health Wednesday today here on Twitch. So make sure to support the other two guys, will you? They're very good supporters um, to my show, and without them, I wouldn't be doing this today. All right, so tonight's show we will have 8 positive stories, 4 positive videos, and 2 of them, for the first time, we're going to do some back-to-back quotes. So how about that? A little bit of a long segment and a little bit of a short segment of quotes. So kind of excited about that. I know everybody loved the quote segment, so I decided to do 2 today. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that later on in the show. Before I get started, I'm going to test something. That music you heard, I got from YouTube. It is non-copyright. So let me do this before. So Twitch won't look at. It says no copyright music. So if it gets blurred out, I have my evidence. It says no copyright music. So it's by Luke Bergs, "Walking on Sunshine." I like it. It should be my theme music now. Walking on sunshine. It's very catchy, so I like it. I want to try something real quick before we get started with the show, with the video part. So I wonder if I see it in full screen, will everything be all right? So we're gonna play a little bit more of the song, but I'm gonna put it in full screen. So hold on. All right. I guess it'll be all right. Okay, that's all. All right, that's it. Thank you. All right. So we will be we'll be doing some videos on that, and I think I could do it for full screen for the first time. So that's kind of awesome as well. I like the song. I like it too. I like it too. Maybe that could be the new theme song. I might save it. Let's save it for now. And that could be like the little new theme song I have on here now. All right. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and load up our first story for today. Again, make sure to auto host this to your Twitch channels. Make sure to share it out to your social medias like Facebook, Twitter, wherever you can share stuff out as we try to spread some positivity in 2023. All right. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with our first story for today. And let me do this real quick. Bam. Wait, nope. Hold on. Bam. All right. I knew I was going to do that. There we go. All right. Let's make sure everything's good. All right. We're good to go here. All right. Little bit of what Jim would call it. Oops. No, I don't want to close it. Um, technical studio. uh, to say. So, all right, so let's go ahead and get started with our first story for today. And out of 8, and our first story is a Dutch woman smashes a world record unbroken for 41 years while her home audience cheers. And this is for Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for February 22nd of 2023. And make sure to check out thegoodnewsnetwork.org as they always produce good stories um, uh, on their websites. If you don't see it on here, it's always on their website. So they have some good stories for this week and past weeks and months and years and all of that. So make sure to check out thegoodnewsnetwork.org. So again, a Dutch woman smashes a world record unbroken for 41 years while her home audience cheers. So if you guys are ready, we're about to get started with our first story out of 8 tonight here on A Ray of Sunshine on a Wednesday afternoon. It's so weird to say that. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started here. Here we go. A 41-year-old world record in women's track and field stands no longer after a young Dutch speed demon smashed it in front of her home crowd. Um, Femke Bol took off at the starting pistol at the Dutch Indoor Championships in Apeldoorn and completed a 400-meter sprint in 49.26 seconds, beating Jarmila Katra. Oh, we're not going to say that one, but I'll say K. World record of 49.59 seconds set in 1982. Quote, "It was because of all the fans here that I ran this record," said the 22-year-old Olympic bronze medalist. "Never have I even ever seen that many people here. When I crossed the line, I knew that the record was mine because of the noise that the crowd made." So here's a tweet from Atultai Kuni. Hopefully I said that right. World record, Femke Bol Veledinar. Oh, this is all in Spanish, but or whatever. But there's the tweet, if you can see it there. I'm not going to attempt to read it. But let's continue on. Um, the person she beat for the record, um, the old record holder, was the longest standing record in track and the second oldest in track and field. Bol also set a world record for the best indoor 500 meter at 1 minute 1:05.63 in Boston. I think it's 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour 5 minutes and 63 seconds if it's in the Boston Marathon. In Boston, in her first race of the season. During the last Summer Olympics, she collected a bronze medal in the 400-meter hurdles. So this is awesome. So again, she made the world record 49 seconds for a 400-meter sprint. She'll definitely beat me, I'll tell you. 49 seconds. I don't think mine will take me about a minute and a half. So so congrats to her. That's a good record to break. And again, she broke in a 41-year-old record last in 1982 by can't find her name, but oh, there we go, Jarmila K, and it was at 49.59 seconds back in 1982. So congrats to Miss Bol there for breaking the record, and very high achievement, of course, for her as well. So, kicking off our first story, a Dutch woman smashes a world record unbroken for 41 years while her home audience cheers. This is for Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for February 22nd of 2023. As we move on to story number 2 for this afternoon. And again, thank you guys so much for being in here as we will post story number 2 here for the show. And a senior with no car walks to work, but after she found 15,000 and returned it, she does now. And this is for Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for February 22nd of 2023. So again, a senior with no car walks to work, but after she found 15K and returned it, she does now. So if you guys are ready, and it looks like there's a GoFundMe in part of this as well. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with story number 2 for this afternoon. So here we go. Strangers around the country are rewarding a Michigan woman for her honesty after turning in nearly $15,000 in cash to the police that she found at a gas station. It turned out to be the contributions of guests to a pair of newlyweds who were more than overwhelmed by her integrity. 65-year-old Diane Gorton has been walking 2.7 miles to and from her job behind a deli counter every day since her Jeep broke down and she didn't have enough money to fix it. One day she decided to stop at a gas station for a snack and noticed the plastic bag. Inside there was a lot of money. Turning it around, there were some greeting cards and a lot more money. Just doing what she was taught to do, the grandmother of two called the police, who sent an officer to take custody of the sum. Gorton could have walked into any dealership in the state and driven something off the lot that day, but knew because the money wasn't hers, it wasn't correct to take it. Quote, "If it doesn't belong to you, you don't keep it," she told the Washington Post. "I didn't do anything special. All I did was return something that didn't belong to me." Police Chief Dan Keller of the White Lake Township Police Department telephoned Gorton later that day to tell her they had used the information on the cards inside the bag to track down the owners. The happy couple was overwhelmed by Gorton's honesty, as well as was Keller's wife, Stacy Connell. Quote, "As a police officer's wife, I typically hear the bad things, so this was obviously heartwarming," said Connell. "I was hoping we could help her get a car, since she could have walked into any dealership and used that money." Connell set up a GoFundMe. In just 6 days, it raised 4 times as much money from people wanting to reward Gorton's act of selflessness as she had found in the sealed bag that morning. Grateful for the money, in the words of encouragement from all the contributors who celebrated with comments like, "There are still good people in the world," Gorton said she was stunned by the outpouring of generosity, which at the time of publishing raised $82,000 and then closed. On February 8th, friends of Diane wrote, "Diane officially signed for her new Jeep Compass yesterday at SZOT M59 in White Lake Township. Along with the new car, she also got an extended warranty, maintenance, insurance, and plates and tabs. There was also an inspection done in her home to evaluate some much needed repairs that will be done very soon. It's a beautiful story that shows more often than not, honesty pays." So, again, she was being honest. $15,000. She could have saw the money, so you know what, 15K, I found it. I just go under the dealership, took the car. Nope. She did the good thing, called the cops, said, "Hey, this is not mine, it belongs to somebody." The owners gave it to him, set up a GoFundMe, and look at that. $82,675. And now she has a new Jeep Compass, and probably some of that extra money now is to go around the house. So, very incredible story of good honesty as well. And again, good people are still here around the world. Sharon says not many would have returned the money. Good for her. Right. Not many would. 15,000, I mean, anybody could just picked it up and been like, "Hey, I got 15K. Someone didn't want it or whatever and just took it." So she did the right thing, and then at the end, she got rewarded. She got rewarded big time. So kudos to her, and hopefully she enjoys the Jeep Compass, and as well as as probably some work around the house as well with some of the money she probably has left. So, senior with no car walks to work, but after she found 15K and returned it, she does now. And again, this is from Andy Corbally of the Good News Network for February 22nd of 2023. As we move on to story number 3, and I was on live yesterday, and go ahead, give me a drink of water real quick here. And I was trying to look for some stories, and just to test out the OBS, and I was kind of curious about this one here. So, a couple stunned to find childhood letter in attic written by King Charles to his granny, the Queen Mother, in 1955. And this is from Andy Corbally of the Good News Network for February 23rd of 2023. Now, I do not know who will be the grandmother, so it's not Elizabeth's the mother. I don't know who will be the grandmother, so I'm not good at the the English monarchy, but um, anyway, so they found a childhood letter from King Charles to his granny, the Queen Mother. So, very interesting story. And as you see a preview, there are lots of love from Charles. So let's go ahead and take a look at this story. Very intriguing story to read here. So let's start it, hydrate it up. Let's go ahead and get started. We all found family heirlooms and keepsakes tucked away in our attics and lofts before. But an English couple recently found a lot more than merely their parents' third grade arithmetic homework. A couple from Stratford upon Avon were left gobsmacked after they found a childhood letter that newly crowned King Charles wrote to his granny, Queen Mother Elizabeth, when she was ill. Quote, Granny, I am sorry that you are ill. I hope you will be better soon, read the letter written on Buckingham Palace letterhead and dated March 15th of 1955. On the back of the letter, a 6-year-old Prince Charles signed it with lots of love from Charles, alongside colorful doodles and 14 kisses. Other royal memorabilia was found, including postcards from the royal estate at Sandringham, royal dinner menus, an invitation to a ball at Balmoral Estate, a note signed by the Queen Mother for the memorial service of King James VI, if my Roman numerals are correct, and a copy of the Queen's Christmas speech from 1956. Quote, we finally had the time to look through a big box file that my mother had given to us, the 49-year-old husband and finder said, remaining anonymous because of the couple's intent to put the items up for auction. For the last 30 to 40 years, it's been gathering dust inside various lofts. So, again, there's a letter. I think this is King Charles' letter from Buckingham Palace. Again, signed March 15th of 55. And it says, Dear Granny, I am sorry that you are ill. Hope you will be better soon. Nice handwriting by him, by the way. I kind of like the handwriting. So, there you go with the letter there. Continuing on. Quote, it originally belonged to my late granddad, Roland Stockdale, he added. My wife said, wow, look at that. We were pretty gobsmacked. The man said there was a simple explanation, namely that his grandfather, Roland, became a police sergeant in the Queen's Personal Protection Force during the 1950s, and the box of letters contained a photo of him in the information room in Scotland Yard in 1952. Quote, I was told he was originally involved in helping to protect the Queen Mother, but he probably worked with several roles over time, he said. Sergeant Stockdale worked alongside William Talon, the Queen's Mother's devoted servant, whose letters were also found in the loft, one of which was addressed to Stockdale and read, Dear Sarge, Queen Elizabeth told me this morning that you are not well. So, and again, there's another photo of him with the letter from a young Charles back then, a young King Charles. A few weeks later, on February 7th, 1983, Talon wrote again, offering his condolences to Mrs. Audrey Stockdale following Roland's death. A letter to her on Clarence House, headed paper reads, I am so dreadfully sorry to hear of your very sad loss, and the family have all my deepest sympathy at this awful moment in time. I always thought most highly of Ron, the best and kindest sergeant we ever had. I only hope that all was peaceful at the end and that he didn't have to suffer. I have absolutely no idea how he came to have the letter written by King Charles when he was a boy, said the seller. It's one of the many things he kept. For the inheritors of Roland's keepsakes, their biggest takeaway was how much it seemed everyone around the royal family valued Roland's service and character. Quote, it is clear from the tone of the correspondence that the royal family held Roland in high regard for his kindness, said auctioneer Charles Hanson, who will handle the sale. It has long been normal practice for members of the royal family to give away small keepsakes and personal mementos to valued servants. Such was the warmth felt for Roland. It appears the Queen Mother allowed him to keep one or two special items. So, incredible story. Um, incredible story. And a keepsake as well. Who would have thought? Probably just looking at a box of stuff and seeing stuff from the royal palace, the Buckingham Palace, and then you find King Charles, when he was a boy, a letter from for his grandmother in the box. So, and I'm pretty sure that, again, auctions and sales and all of that. That's probably going to be worth a lot of money for the letter. Now that Prince Charles is King Charles now, so that is a very very good memento that the family kept, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Roland was again very good with the royal family back then, and kept again a couple of keepsakes as well. And I think the Queen wrote when Roland passed a letter to the family as well. I think they said in '82 or something like that. So lots of mementos that the family has, and now has to sort it out and see how much all that stuff's worth. So maybe that could be a little bit of an update that the story will have. So we'll see. But anyway, a couple stunned to find childhood letter in attic written by King Charles to his granny, the Queen Mother, in 1955. And then again, this is for Andy Corbett of the Good News Network for February 23rd of 2023. All right, as we move on to story number 4, we are halfway through stories today. And again, I thank everybody so much for tuning in, lurking, all of that. Really do appreciate y'all. And don't forget, if we end out on time about 6 o'clock, we're going to go ahead and read the mental health hour with Tim and Gemma. They'll be back after a couple weeks off, so make sure to stay tuned for that later on. And also, we'll have positive videos as well. All right. So, story number 4 for this afternoon. I should say this evening, afternoon, evening. Heinz is looking for a man who survived a month at sea, eating only ketchup so they can buy him a boat. Wow. And this is for Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for February 24th of 2023. Again, Heinz is looking for a man who survived a month at sea eating only ketchup so they could buy him a boat. So, so there you go. The Heinz bottle with a letter in it. So anyway, if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and take a look at story number 4 for this evening, guys. So here we go. And let me see. Maybe I might keep the bottle up there as a little bit of a reference there for what's going on. All right, here we go. Story number 4. Let's get to it. Spotting an opportunity to change someone's life and nab some pretty stunning publicity in the process, Heinz is looking to get in contact with a Dominican sailor who survived 4 weeks adrift at sea with little more sustenance than a bottle of ketchup. The company wants to give the man a new boat with state-of-the-art navigation systems so as to avoid any future ordeals of this type. Elvis Francois was out on his boat off the coast of Saint Martin when the weather turned and started carrying him out into the open ocean. Quote, I tried to go back to port, but I lost track because it took me a while to mount the sail and fix the sail, he said. I called my friends, my coworkers. They tried to contact me, but they lost service. There was nothing else I could do than sit down and wait. So Francois wrote help on the back of his boat and waited to see what happened with nothing more to eat other than a packet of garlic seasoning, a bottle of ketchup, and his lunch that day of Maggie soup. So there's a tweet by Armanda de Colombia. And I don't know what that will say in English, but there's a tweet from him right there. All right. And we got some pictures down there as well. So this must be him. I guess maybe when they rescued him, they were just checking his health and everything. So very interesting. All right, let's continue on. He was rescued by the Colombian Navy, who brought him back to Cartagena for a medical examination that found he was in good health. Heinz has put out a digital message in a bottle to try and contact Francois, to whom they would like to gift a new boat, equipped with full navigational technology to avoid another disaster in the future, the company told CBS News. So here's the tweet by Heinz. Help us find the ketchup boat guy. And there it is, the bottle with the note in there. So they need help finding the boat guy right now. And oh, this is an Instagram post. I'm sorry. So here's what Heinz wrote. To whoever finds this message, we need your help tracking down an amazing man with an amazing story. You may remember Elvis Francois as the brave sailor who survived on nothing but ketchup and spices while adrift at sea for 24 days. Well, Heinz wants to celebrate his safe return home and help him buy a new boat, but we can't seem to find him. So we're sending this message adrift into the sea of the internet because if anyone can help us find him, it's you. If you or anyone you know can help us get in contact with Elvis Francois, please drop us a DM. Don't forget to share this post with all your friends so we can find the ketchup boat guy. Sincerely, Heinz. So, all right, so let's continue on. Quote, we're hoping to spread the word far and wide so Heinz can finally gift the new boat to Elvis, the company said. So far, they contacted the government of Dominica, where he lives, in the Colombian Navy, but currently have had no luck. Quote, we're setting this message adrift into the sea of the internet because if anyone can help us find them, it's you, the company said. If you or anyone you know can help us get in contact with Elvis Francois, please drop us a DM. So this is going to be a continuing story, but again, Elvis Francois, I guess we're going to call him now the ketchup boat guy, set adrift on a boat for 24 days, and all he had was a pack of garlic, Maggie soup, and some ketchup. So, um, and they obviously rescued him, and now they're trying to find him. And if Heinz can find him, they're going to give him a boat with all the navigational systems and all of that. So they're depending on people. If we know who Elvis Francois is, please get in contact with Heinz so they can help him out with a boat with some navigational systems, and hopefully he'll get back to sea and have something safe to go on. So, very interesting story. I'm pretty sure this will have also an update as well. So, we will probably stay tuned for that. So, again, Heinz is looking for a man who survived a month at sea, eating only ketchup so they can buy him a boat. And again, this is from Andy Corbally of the Good News Network for February 24th of 2023. As we move on to story number 5, and we're gonna go on to a little bit of some heroism stories here for today. And the story here for story 5 For 3 hours, doctor continued CPR on toddler with no pulse until life returned. And this is for Andy Corbally of the Good News Network for February 24th of 2023. 3 hours, doctor continued CPR on toddler with no pulse until his life returned. So if you are ready, we're going to get ready for this story. This might be a little bit of a tearjerker, maybe, but again, it's the story of rescue, so it's always going to come out to be something good at the end. So, if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with story number 5. When 3-year-old Waylon Saunders arrived at the hospital, it was already legally dead and had been for a while. Found face down in an icy backyard swimming pool, the Ontario toddler's body temperature was so low that paramedic thermometers couldn't get a reading, and he had no pulse. So, see, Frank was here. Frank asked me about a Canadian story. So, here's a Canadian story, Frank. He's probably going to show up later, probably. I'm going to tell him I already did a Canadian story. All right, let's continue on. Nevertheless, a team of Charlotte, Eleanor Englehart Hospital in Petrola, Ontario performed CPR for 3 hours without stopping, while simultaneously using other methods to warm his frozen body. There's a classic scene you can watch in many different films and TV, from Grey's Anatomy to Casino Royale, where CPR is attempted, and after a minute, the person, whether Grey or James Bond, stops or is pulled away from pounding on a patient's chest, unwilling to accept they are no longer revivable. Fortunately for Waylon, they didn't stop, and after 3 hours of compressing his chest to artificially pump blood to his brain and other organs, Waylon's heart was restarted and kept on keeping on. Quote, they had a cycle of people providing CPR in Petrola. They had people warming him with many different techniques, said Dr. Janice Tyjessen, director of the Pediatric Critical Care Unit at Children's Hospital, London Health Sciences Centre in Ontario, where Waylon was rushed after his heart restarted. Quote, there was a big team helping him then, keeping him comfortable as his organs started to heal. Then allowing him to wake up, he exceeded all expectations, Tyjessen told CBC News. In the 2020 European Championships, Danish footballer Christian Eriksen collapsed from cardiac arrest on the pitch, shocking the crowd to a hush. Denmark's captain Simon Kjær recognized what was happening, secured his teammate's neck, made sure he wasn't swallowing in his tongue, and began performing CPR while the paramedics arrived, who then carried on for 15 minutes before Eriksen could be removed from the pitch. Eriksen's heart was stopped for 78 minutes in total. And, well, we'll get to it at the end here. If one didn't know anything about CPR, someone watching the game or watching little Waylon B. rushed into the hospital might have been certain they were never going to wake up. Movies and TVs either show CPR working after less than a minute or never working. But in reality, CPR can revive people who have had their hearts stopped for tens of minutes. Waylon's mother, Gillian Burnett, said the team holds a piece of her heart for all time of their determination. CPR is not a complicated procedure and can be learned and practiced in simple courses, often offered by local schools and firehouses. It's possible that Kjær saved Eriksen's life by starting CPR so early. It's possible you could save someone's life too if you're the only one who knows how to perform it. So I think this is Dr. Tyjessen explaining how they saved Waylon's life here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video here.
There's not a lot you can do when a child is as cold as he was. In fact, he was so cold we couldn't even get a temperature read on him. So we just knew that he was very cold and needed to be rewarmed. So that was one of the main tasks that the team in Petrolia had to do. And the other was providing high-quality CPR.
Right. And so you did CPR for 3 hours?
Yeah, that's right. Almost 3 hours.
And why so long? Because I feel as though normally you wouldn't do CPR that long.
Yeah, no way, we wouldn't. The reason we kept going was because he remained so cold, and so prognosis was uncertain until we could get him to a closer to normal temperature.
Right. And when did you start to realize he's gonna come back from this?
Well, that was still uncertain for at least the first day or two.
But when did his heartbeat start, and what was that like?
Oh, yeah. So at the point where his temperature is about 28 degrees, that's when his heartbeat came back and stayed.
Wow.
So that was when we became much more hopeful that we were going to be able to get him back.
And then you transferred him to London.
That's right. The critical care transport team at Children's Hospital was dispatched just as soon as we got the call, and they were there to help the team stabilize him some more, and then they brought him here to Children's.
Okay, so
There's not a lot you can do when
I'm a little bit
a child
delayed,
is as
so
cold as he was. In fact, he was so
probably
cold
my
we couldn't
actual
even get a
feed is
temperature
stopped.
read on
This
him.
was
So
about 2
we just
seconds
knew that he
behind,
was
which
very
is kind
cold
of
and
good.
needed to be rewarmed.
Anyway,
So that was one of the main.
go ahead and pause that as well. So there's your story there from Dr. Tajessa there of how they saved Waylon's life. And the first thing that came to my mind, um, when they were talking about this, people collapsing and doing CPR, we all remembered the Buffalo Bills player DeMar Hamlin, and when he collapsed on the field, and they needed CPR. He needed CPR. Um, so they took a long time on the field. Of course, they delayed that, or they didn't even play that game at all. They canceled it, and but they did face each other again in the playoffs. So, but that was the first person that came to my mind when we were talking about CPRs and people collapsing. So, but this is, I mean, this is kind of similar. We're talking about a 3-year-old who collapsed, and doctors took 10 minutes. They weren't going to give up. They took 10 minutes and saved Waylon's life here, and now he's still around today. He's alive today, thanks to the doctors and of course Dr. Justin there, as you saw in the video there. So it's important to know CPR. As I said, Waylon here. We had the story of I think someone from Denmark, and the soccer player, and of course, as we all know, recently of DeMar Hamlin, who collapsed on the football field and collapsed, but he's making a great recovery as well. So just a good story, good story to not close out the story segment, but just to save someone's life. So. But for 3 hours, doctor continued to CPR a toddler with no pulse until life returned. And this is from Andy Corbally of the Good News Network for February 24th of 2023. All right, let's continue on to story. I think this next one will be story 6. Yep, so we're on story number 6. And then after that, we got 2 more stories and positive stories before we go on to videos. So again, I thank you guys so much for being in here, tuning in, watching A Ray of Sunshine on a Wednesday afternoon. So do appreciate you guys so much. And to any replay viewers that will watch later today, thank you so much for watching as well. All right, let's go on to story number 6. A man who didn't read or write until his late teens becomes Cambridge University's youngest black professor. And this is from the Good News Network for February 25th of 2023. Again, a man who didn't read or write until his late teens becomes a Cambridge University's youngest black professor. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with story number 6 of 8 of positive stories. So here we go. A boy with autism who could not read or write until his late teens is now the youngest ever black professor at Cambridge University 20 years later. As a child, Jason Arday was diagnosed with global developmental delay, which affecting his ability to learn how to talk and read. Speechless until age 11, therapists even predicted he would spend his adult life in assisted living, requiring lifelong support. The 37-year-old has now taken up one of the most prestigious professorships in one of the world's top universities and is the youngest black person to do it. Despite growing up with a learning disability in a disadvantaged area of Clapham, London, he had huge questions to ask the world. Arday, who now teaches sociology, remembers thinking, why are some people homeless? Why is there war? I remember thinking if I don't make it as a football player, then I want to save the world. He finally learned to read and write in his teens and became a PE teacher after studying at the University of Surrey. He knew he wanted to study and learn more, but had little training or guidance to do so. Quote, when I started writing academic papers, I had no idea what I was doing. I did not have a mentor, and no one ever showed me how to write. The peer review process was so cruel. It was almost funny, but I treated it as a learning experience. At age 27, he wrote on his bedroom wall at his parents' house, one day I will work at Oxford or Cambridge. He remembers his college friend Sandro Sandy telling him, I think you can do this. I think we could take on the world and win. Looking back, that was when I first really believed in myself. A lot of academics say they stumbled into this line of work, but from the moment I was determined and focused, I knew that this would be my goal. He wrote papers and studied by night while working as a PE teacher by day, eventually becoming an acclamated professor and with two master's degrees and a PhD in educational studies from Liverpool John Moores University. While studying for his PhD in 2015, he co-edited a groundbreaking report for the Runnymede Trust, aiming higher about racial and ethnic inequalities in British universities. He eventually published his first solo paper in 2018. The same year, he successfully secured a senior lectureship at Roehampton University before moving on to Durham University, where he was an associate professor of sociology. He went on to another prestigious professorship at the University of Glasgow School of Education, making him at the time one of the youngest professors in the UK. He has since written books and will now start at Cambridge on March 6th as Professor of Sociology of Education, hoping to inspire people from underrepresented backgrounds to pursue higher education. Arday now joins five other black professors at the institution. Quote, my work focuses primarily on how we can open doors to more people from disadvantaged backgrounds and truly democratize higher education. Hopefully, being in a place like Cambridge will provide me with the leverage to lead that agenda nationally and globally. And he might just save the world or his own little corner of it. So that's an amazing, amazing story. And again, um, he had autism. He was he had autism, and he defied everything, and is now the youngest ever black professor at Cambridge University. Say it's 20 years later. So just an incredible story of defying the odds. Working his way to be a professor. Um, no, strategizing like, hey, if something does not work, what else can I do? How can I change the world? So, just a great story by Professor Arday there, and he starts again March. I think he said March 6th, March 8th. So it's coming up before he becomes a professor at Cambridge. So kudos to him, and I wish him the best of luck over in Cambridge there. So Professor Arday, right there, and again the title of the story. A man who didn't read or write until his late teens becomes Cambridge University's youngest black professor. And this is from the Good News Network for February 25th of 2023. As we move on to story number 7 this evening, As we move on, we got this story. We got one more story before we get to positive videos. In our next story, students raised $270,000 so an 80-year-old janitor can retire from a Texas high school. And this is for Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for February 27th of 2023. And again, students raised $270,000 so an 80-year-old janitor can retire from a Texas high school. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with story number 7. Here on the Ray of Sunshine, we got this and one more story to go. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. High school seniors managed to secure $250,000 for their sweet 80-year-old janitor who had to come out of retirement after his rent was up. The money was raised through a GoFundMe, which started out as a simple goal of $10,000, but quickly took on a goal of its own. Several seniors at Callisburg High School in Texas noticed their school had a new janitor, Mr. James, an 80-year-old former retiree whose rent has gone up $400 and needed a job to support it. Believing they could use their whippersnapper knowledge of the internet and social media to help out, they got the idea to open a GoFundMe to help 80-year-old Mr. James get back to doing 80-year-old things. Quote, "It's crazy to see something that we knew people would have wanted to help," said senior Marty Yusko, "but we didn't know it would blow up." A single TikTok video was posted by senior Grayson Thurman showing Mr. James cleaning the halls, along with a GoFundMe aiming to help James continue to live comfortably. Quote, "I have 2,000 followers, and that was enough to get the word out," said Thurman. Raising $10,000 in 12 hours, most of the donations came from students. "It's just amazing," said Principal Jason Hooper. "You know of the need that was met because of 3 kind kids, but of all of our students who have pitched in to help that need." Let's continue on. Local news reported on the fund drive in mid-February when there was still a 5-digit sum on the table, but it had to be turned off after passing $270,000 in order to get Mr. James the money as soon as possible. Donations came from all over the country and even beyond, wishing the short-term janitor a happy retirement and congratulating the students for their brilliant idea. So this is a local news story of how they did it. And so here we go. And we're going to try to do this video thing a little bit better here. So, okay. So we'll do this. All right. Bam. Hopefully y'all will hear it. So let's go ahead and hear the video here right now.
Donations are pouring in for a North Texas high school janitor after students learned that he needed to leave retirement just to make ends meet. 80-year-old Mr. James returned to work last month as a janitor at Callisburg High School after his rent went up $400. 3 seniors started a GoFundMe to help him out and posted a video on TikTok to spread the news. Their original goal was raised to $10,000. But in just over a week, it now stands at, can you guess, Chris? Well, of course you can because it's in the prompter, $269,000.
After seeing everything that goes on in the world, that they really just focus on the bad things, and it really showed us how much people really care and that there's still really good people in the world.
Never underestimate the power of our young people. The students say they are ending the GoFundMe today so that it doesn't get out of hand and can get Mr. James the money ASAP.
You're looking to raise $10K and you raise almost 30 times that. It's staggering. Just amazing. So glad to hear that.
All right, I'm back. All right. So just an amazing story. Oh, mute myself. Just an amazing story. Um, a goal of 10,000. They were just looking for 10,000 probably, and to get $270,000. That's very incredible. It was mostly from the students, by the way. So that's very incredible. And of course, they really cared about Mr. James, a janitor, 80 years old, working as a janitor, and now he can continue to live his retirement and probably pay the rent as well and enjoy life as an 80-year-old. Enjoy the time that you deserve. So kudos to these nice students there in Texas that helped him raise $270,000 so he can retire from a Texas high school. And again, this is from Indy Corbally of the Good News Network for February 27th of 2023. As we will go on to our last story for this afternoon before we go to videos. And our last story is kind of a current situation that's going right now over in Turkey, and this is kind of a good thing as well um, to see here as well. Actually, we'll see here in a minute. A Turkish stadium sees teddy bears rain down on field for earthquake victims, and this is from Andy Corbally of the Good News Network for February 28th of 2023. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and finish off positive stories with this video here. Well, this story, but there will be a video with it as well. So let's go ahead and get started. In a moment that will bring tears to your eyes and send your jaw to the floor, a packed Istanbul soccer stadium rained teddy bears down onto the field in donation and support for the children affected by the earthquakes. Um, at, at exactly the 17th second of the 4th minute of the match, which corresponded to the time of the first earthquake, um, Besa, Besa, Besiktas JK supporters threw stuffed animals, scarves, and other toys onto the pitch, all of which will be delivered to the children living in the earthquake-hit areas with Besiktas Club and 8 trucks. Try that for a tongue twister there. So there's the crowd throwing the bears on the field, and I've seen this before in sports arenas. They throw bears and stuff, and that's for donations. So I thought this will be a very good story to end out with. Continuing on, often soccer fans will celebrate or memorialize world events, tragedies, or celebrations when a particular minute arrives on the clock, which corresponds to it. Some of the stuffed animals had cards or notes attached to the outside. So another photo of the fans throwing the bears on the field there. As we continue on. The event was organized before the Turkish Super League football match between Besiktas and Antalyaspor and was called This Toy Is My Friend. Though other translations have been used, This Toy Is For You, for example. So there's a tweet from Besiktas there. And I won't read it, but continuing on, players applaud the supporters when for a few seconds, plush toys fell like rain onto the pitch before the match was paused for a cleanup. Besiktas tweeted a video of volunteers, players, and other stadium staff packing the bears and toys into transport bags. So we're going to see the video here of the fans throwing the bears onto the field there for support of the Turkish earthquake and for the children of Turkey. So let's go ahead and get started looking at the video here.
İşte skorboardu görüyorsunuz. Depremden etkilenen illerin plaka kodları ve tarihi anlar Vodafone Park'ta. Duygusal anlar, tarihi görüntüler. Olağanüstü görüntüler. depremzede çocuklarımızın yüzlerini bir nebze olsun güldürebilmek için
So that was a good video to see there, and good to see some support over there for the Turkish people. Again, suffering from a bad earthquake, and I know ever since the bad earthquake, they've been still getting a couple of earthquakes in between. So prayers to the people in Turkey, and I'm pretty sure the stuffed bears for the kids, they will definitely enjoy seeing that as well. And it's a solidarity support for them. So kudos to the fans there, and prayers to the people that are affected by the Turkish earthquake as well. So Turkish stadium sees teddy bears rain down on field for earthquake victims. And again, this is for Andy Corbley of the Good News Network for February 28th of 2023. All right, as that will end out positive stories, and now we're going to go on to positive videos. Again, we got 4 videos for this afternoon. That includes our first video coming up, the top 5 positive stories from the month of February. We will also have a video about self-love, kind of like an inspirational video on that. And also, the 2 closing videos will be on quotes from 2 famous people, well-known people, by the way. So you will definitely know who these 2 people are. So that is what's on tap for positive videos this afternoon. And again, anything that you see here from stories to videos will be on my Discord. Make sure to check that out. I'll post my Discord on here real quick. Just check out the Discord, and anything that you see here from this afternoon will be posted on there. So make sure to check that out. All right. So with that being said, we're going to check out the top 5 positive news stories for February of 2023. Start out videos. If you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with that.
Of 2023 has given us a lot of positives to warm our hearts. So counting down on the positives of the second month of the year. Here are the top 5 positive news stories of February 2023. If you like the video and find the content meaningful, then kindly press the super thanks button and contribute whatever you can to the channel. Your contributions will help us create more engaging and informative positive videos. Number 5. 5-year-old who emptied piggy bank for earthquake relief now wins $48 million lottery jackpot at 18. The delightful story from Northern Ontario saw a 5-year-old girl's good karma wait 13 years to reward her. Juliette Lamour won the state's second largest lottery jackpot in history, Canadian $48 million, on her first ever try. Local news from her home city of Sault Ste. Marie revealed a touching side of the story that at 5 years old, Juliette made a very big act of charity, and the suggestion that her generosity has been rewarded after 13 years is humbling. It was 2010, and the island nation of Haiti had just been ravaged by an earthquake. 8 organizations from across the world rushed to help the people of the obliterated country stabilize and recover. At the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds hockey team ice rink, a branch of the Canadian Red Cross had set up a table to help raise money for Haiti, and Juliette and her sister Sophie were determined to help. They upturned their big pink sharing piggy bank that day, out of which came $62. 13 years later, Juliette stepped forward as a young woman to claim the $48 million prize at the Ontario Lottery office. This story just goes to prove that kindness always pays, even if you do not expect a reward for being kind. Number 4. Michael Jordan donates $10 million to Make-A-Wish for his 60th birthday, setting a record. Michael Jordan celebrated his 60th birthday with the largest donation to the Make-A-Wish Foundation in history. The $10 million fortune he donated will go to create an endowment to provide the funds needed to make future wishes possible for kids with critical illnesses, the foundation explained in a release. Witnessing the strength and resilience of the organization's kids has been a continuous inspiration, Jordan said, who has been a partner for 34 years. Jordan noted that he can't think of a better birthday gift than seeing others join him in supporting the foundation, and that he hopes the donation will allow every child to experience the magic of having their wish come true. The Chicago Bulls legend and greatest basketball player of all time has become increasingly generous with his fortune over the years. In 2021, he donated $10 million to Novant Health for the opening of 2 new children's hospitals in his home state of North Carolina. President and CEO of Make-A-Wish America, Leslie Motter, applauded Jordan's ability to create a legacy, both on and off the court. Everyone knows about Michael's legacy on the basketball court, but it's what he has consistently done off the court when no one's watching that makes him a true legend for Wish families and the wider Make-A-Wish community, Motter said in a statement. Michael using his birthday as a chance to make history for Make-A-Wish speaks to the quality of his character and his loyal dedication to making life better for children with critical illnesses. We hope that the public will be inspired to follow in his footsteps by helping make wishes come true. Number 3. Sri Lanka to ban single-use plastic to save elephants. Single-use plastic products will be banned in Sri Lanka to protect wild elephants who die eating the waste, the government said this month. From June, manufacturing or selling plastic cutlery, artificial flowers, and cocktail shakers will be forbidden. Single-use plastic refers to plastic items designed to be used only once before being thrown in the garbage. In Sri Lanka, plastic garbage has become a major problem for the country's wild elephant population. As human settlements increasingly invade elephants' natural habitat, elephants are forced to search for food in garbage dumps and other areas where plastic waste is common. When animals eat plastic waste, it can cause intestinal blockages, leading to starvation and malnutrition, and can also release harmful chemicals into the animal's systems, leading to death. The move to ban single-use plastic in Sri Lanka was recommended by a panel set up 18 months ago to study the impact of plastic waste on the environment and animals, and the bill was passed this month. Number 2. French football star scores first goal since beating cancer, and it was World Cancer Day. February 4th, World Cancer Day, is a day that French Ivorian striker Sébastien Haller will always remember. Last summer, Haller was diagnosed with testicular cancer just weeks after signing a long-term contract to play for the second biggest team in Germany, Borussia Dortmund. It was a difficult, scary period for the big center forward when for the first time in his life, football was clearly not a priority. But after 2 surgeries and 4 rounds of chemotherapy, the tumor was gone, and on World Cancer Day, he started his first game for the club. Before the match and at halftime, Dortmund mascots came on the field to highlight International World Cancer Day by placing a model tumor in the center to raise awareness for testicular cancer. Dortmund were leading the visitors Freiburg 2-1 when in the 51st minute, Haller scored a point-blank header off Rafael Guerreiro's cross, capping off more than 4 months of hospital visits and physical therapy. You remember why you play football is truly that kind of moment, because scoring a goal, it's like I said, you feel like you are in the clouds, an ecstatic Haller exclaimed. Number 1. In mega milestone, India connects 80 million rural households to water supply in just 4 years. India's Jal Jeevan mission of tap water access continues to be one of the great unsung stories of human development. Almost 80 million households have been provided with access to a tap water connection since the program's launch in August 2019, bringing the total to 111 million, or 56% of rural households in the nation. The Jal Jeevan mission hopes to connect every household in the country to public water systems by 2024. The initiative faced disruptions during the pandemic, but from a starting point of just 32.2 million rural households out of a registered 192 million, the program has seen remarkable success. In 2018, before Jal Jeevan began, just 49.5% of the country had access to safely managed drinking water, lower even than neighboring Bangladesh. The accomplishment becomes all the more remarkable when considering that India is the second most populous nation on Earth. If you like the video and find the content meaningful, then kindly press the super thanks button and contribute whatever you can to the channel. Your contributions will help us create more engaging and informative.
Alrighty, so let me go ahead and mute this real quick. So those are your top 5 positive news stories for the month of February, and very good stories, I will say, especially number 1, India connecting 80 million water supplies to households in just 4 years. That's very amazing for them to do that. Very, very amazing for that country. And then you got the soccer player scoring a goal on World Cancer Day as he beat cancer. That is so amazing. Sri Lanka banning plastics to help the elephants out and probably some other animals out, which is good as well. And the lottery winner, from a little kid to now an adult, to win the lottery. That's very amazing as well. So those are your top 5 stories for the month of February, and hopefully the month of March will have some great ones as well. All right, so we're going to move on to our next segment here, and positive motivation, self-love. We all need self-love because we have to love ourselves first before we can do anything else. That's the number 1 key goal in mental health, is to have our own personal self-love. So we're going to have some positive motivational speakers here. I think about 3 or 4 of them, maybe more, giving their message on self-love. So if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started with this video.
How much do you love yourself? Because if you understand the value of self-love, you'll never be friends with those type of people. Most of the people out here are running around empty. They have no sense of self, no sense of self-love. When I say self-love, it has nothing to do with celebrity, money, materialistic things, and all of the things that your negative mind could probably go to. It has nothing to do with self-love. It has nothing to do with looks, nothing to do with cars and any of the superficial things that one would assume that could make you love yourself even more. It's a matter of knowing your value. It's a matter of you saying, I don't have to be around these people in these type of environments and situations in order for me to finally see the value in myself. I love me independent of you loving me. I believe in me. I know my self-worth. I am here and I have a purpose. There is no value in having wisdom, knowledge, insight, spirituality, love. Every day, I am a work in progress.
A person who can forgive nothing is a person who's totally destroyed psychologically and emotionally. Forgive your parents. Forgive any relationship that you ever had that didn't work out. Forgive everyone else in your life that has ever hurt you in any way. Forgive yourself.
Forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. I think for myself, and I know many of you, you think forgiving means accepting what has happened to you. Well, it is accepting that it has happened to you. Not accepting that it was okay for it to happen. It is accepting that it has happened, and now what do I do about it? Forgiving is giving up the hope, not holding on, hoping, wishing that it could have been any other way than it actually was. Giving up the hope that the past could be any different. And when I got that, I think it took me to the next level of being a better person, because I don't hold grudges for anything or any situation, and neither should you. It's letting go so that the past does not hold you prisoner, does not hold you hostage.
See, life is cyclic. You're not, whatever experience you're having right now, it has not come to stay. It has come to pass. Not to stay, just to pass. It's just going through. The biggest challenge is to know what's happening. This is a part of this thing we call life. This too shall pass. And maintaining perspective, putting it in perspective.
You have to be willing to break from the past to have the future you so desperately desire. You have to have the courage to allow yourself to honor the past as it was, to forgive those who need to be forgiven, to forgive yourself, and to acknowledge that everything led you to this point now. Everything.
Let it go and begin to focus on developing myself. And I say to you, you're going to have people to do things to you. Things are going to happen to you. And the most important thing to do is to harness your will and let it go and move so you can grow, so you can get on with your life. It doesn't matter about what happens to you. What matters is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do now, Les? But if you want to begin to move into your own personal greatness, if you want to begin to really enjoy a happy, successful, healthy life, you've got to be willing to go against the tide. You've got to be willing to harness your will. So as you're in the process of reinventing your life, write a description of the kind of person that you want to be. What are the things that you must overcome? What qualities about your personality you know that you're going to have to change, because those particular characteristics are liabilities to you? What are your assets? What are your strong points? Look at and evaluating yourself to make that determination. Other thing is that in order to get out of a rut, we need some coaching. Find some trusted critics. People that you know care about you and love you. So there's some things that keeps us from growing and getting out of ruts. Number one, we identify with feedback. We take it personal when someone wants to give us some feedback on where we are falling short and tell us about our blind spots. We want to have everything being positive about us. We're not perfect. It hurts. I have a friend who's a trusted critic. I don't like him, but I love him. He doesn't tell me the things I want to hear. He tells me what I need to hear so I can grow. It hurts. It hurts when he put me on the hot seat. I can't stand it. But that's the only way that I can grow. And I'm glad that he loves me enough to risk our friendship to tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear.
High performers are not dissatisfied strivers. They're not. They're happy. High performers are happier than their peers. We all believe that to get the top, it's going to be lonely at the top, and we all believe you have to grind and kill yourself to get there. Yeah. And that's completely wrong, and the data proves it worldwide, which is, I think, just overcoming a lot of people's biases about how you work today, because right now, especially today, like, you know, grind on social media is so popular.
Or hustle.
Or hustle. And by the way, none of the top 15% of high performers worldwide identify with those words. They literally don't. We asked them, we did a whole keyword analysis. Yep. This was actually pretty cool. And high performers explicitly say, these are the three driving feelings. If we said there was a high performance state, it's driven from these three things. Number one, full engagement.
Yes.
Number two, joy.
Yes.
And number three, confidence.
Yes.
That's what they relate with, okay? That's where it's coming from. It's a joyous journey, not a dissatisfied one. And I had this conversation in the book because I'll kind of maybe frame it this way. Each of these chapters opens with a vignette of somebody I worked with or a situation that I was in that demonstrated high performance. In this particular situation, I'm walking on a stage, thousands of people, after a very famous musician was out there and was telling the audience that person's secret to success, remember, thousands of people,
Yes.
their secret to that person, their whole speech, their secret to success was never settle. Never settle. Nothing is enough. Never settle. And never be satisfied. Never be satisfied. Always demand more. And I'm like, oh, my second slide, which was gonna be on Jumbotrons in like 80-point text, was strive satisfied. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to dispel this for all these thousands of people. I was totally freaked out.
Yeah.
But what I had to explain to people was not only the data, but it's this. If you're never satisfied, I mean, is it true that life is precious? If it's true that life is precious, and you could be gone tomorrow, do you really want to think, you know what, I just never felt fulfilled? I never allowed myself to have a moment of credit. I never allowed myself to have a moment of peace. I never allowed myself to look at that and say, good job. That's not the way to live life. I think just at a spiritual level, it's a bad move. And this book doesn't really go into a lot of that. It's more about the science and the heart stuff. But I think it's really important that people realize your job is to strive satisfied. And if you strive satisfied more often, you will be more of a high performer. And if you never give yourself credit, you're always beating up on yourself, you're always thinking that's not perfect enough, then what's gonna happen? Dissatisfied people burn out and they quit more often than satisfied strivers. So take joy in the moment, engage with what you're doing, allow credit and satisfaction and joy to come in. You can always be improving.
Of course.
But be improving joyfully.
Yes.
And if you're improving joyfully, then you're learning, you feel curious, you feel engaged, the joy is there, you'll get more confident because you're like, I'm gonna learn through this anyway, this is gonna be great. Because you know, this thing is all over social media right now, like, grind, work, whatever. And I'm like, it's popular and I see why that happens and I see why it's catchy. It's just not scientifically valid.
Stop scaring yourself. How often do you terrorize yourself with your own thoughts? You get into absolute terror, and it's only coming from your thoughts. Nobody out there is doing a thing. Sometimes it's an old family pattern, sometimes we get new things. I would like people, when you have time, to make a list of your fears. Make a list of your fears. And then give yourself the opportunity to turn each fear into a positive affirmation. Turn each one into something positive. And remember, always you are in charge. You are always in charge. See, one idle thought doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Thoughts are like drops of water. You drop a drop of water and it doesn't mean much. But if you keep dropping and keep dropping, you get a puddle on the floor, and then you can get a little pond and a lake, and finally you can create an ocean. And with our own thoughts, we can drown in a sea of negativity, or we can float on the ocean of life. And it's up to us. The thoughts we think accumulate. And what sort of puddles are you standing in? Or are you up to here? Or are you up to here and trying to paddle? You know, what are you doing to yourself? When we're willing to change our thinking, we can change our experiences. And it doesn't matter if you've got a big puddle of negative thoughts. You know, you can move over here and create a puddle of marvelous positive thoughts. You can make changes, always. So you want to turn those fear thoughts into positive affirmations. Let them work for you.
When we think we are unworthy, it means that for some reason we believe that we have to prove We have a right to our space on the planet, in life, as we are, being who we are. And that means that we will do all manner of wonderfulness to prove we deserve to be here. And usually, some of the common things are we overcommit, overgive, we overdo, we over excuse, we overcompensate, and we stay in difficult, desperate, hurtful, harmful situations much longer than it is wise or productive to do so. Worth. What it is that you expect from the world in response to who you are is very different from value. Self-value means how you hold yourself within yourself and what you expect as a result. Now, in order to get to the worth, if you're not holding yourself within yourself as worthy, then what you expect from the world is surely going to hurt you.
This is what you're going to do. You are literally going to dump out everything that's in your head onto this piece of paper. Every concern, every worry, every to-do, everything that's bothering you, that you're thinking about.
For some people especially, they're just experiencing way too much pressure. And that pressure, a lot of times, it's just an imbalance in perspective.
And discipline is a matter of the imposition of order, and the order is necessary, especially for people who are hopeless and nihilistic.
Your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work.
Most people do it for survival. We need to feed our families, we need to survive, it's our career, okay, we have to do it. But to wake up with, my feet and my fingers tingling and say, wow, I have this to do, I have that to do today. And it's an amazing feeling, and I don't take it for granted.
You're going to have a hard time thinking about all the options, and you're going to be really attached emotionally.
So a lot of us know that. I can get over here, but over here, man, this is much better because I got to go through this journey that is not fun. This from 20 to 100%, this shit in between is not fun.
Discomfort is your friend. It really is. Like discomfort and not being happy and content with certain situations in life or certain feelings in life. They're massive motivators, and they're amazing at facilitating change.
Everything else is secondary. Were the words, stay hungry, stay foolish. It was their farewell message as they signed off. Stay hungry, stay foolish. And I have always wished that in myself.
Well, it is scary. I will always say that, especially business, because it's a very scary place to be in. It changes, it goes ups and downs, it has so many ups and downs. To be successful, you have to be able to walk away from a deal. You have to. If you want it bad enough, then people are going to give it to you at patterns,
If you think it sucks when it's bad, you have losing pessimistic DNA. And if you think it's awesome and phenomenal, you have optimistic winning DNA. And I believe that to be true. And so that's where we're at. That's why people got to understand what is in us. We have no idea until we start trying hard.
Is it as enjoyable as it can be? And we all know that there's a spectrum for that enjoyability. Like we've all had times in our life where it's not been so great. And then times in our life where everything came together, like, what a fucking great day. Woo! Like, make more of those.
And the discipline part, you don't hear a lot about. That's the things people do when nobody else sees. That's when you win.
All right. So those were the mute myself. The inspirational speeches of self-love there, and very, very, very good words of advice from all of those motivational speakers there. Just giving their advice of self-love. And I know one of them that I caught on to, and I think I did a video of it one time, was of fear. And what's your fear? Write down what your fear is and conquer it. And I think I did a video on that one time, and It's very helpful to fight your fears on stuff. What are you afraid of? And um, and how do you fight it? How do you combat it? So I know that's one of them out of the many that I picked out from it. But a lot of good advice on those speeches there. Speaking of that, oh, here's Jim is in the room, and Jim resubscribed 14 months. Amazing. So thank you, Jim, for the resub. Jim says, I think my sales manager played a part of that video at a conference. Good stuff. Really? Yeah. And Jim is working. He is working. He's trying to finish up the workday over there in Chicago. Make sure to give Jim a follow, guys, as he is doing Catalyst tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, part of the Mental Health Wednesday train. Here on Twitch. So I'm so glad that Jim's on here and lurking and enjoying the show. Really do appreciate you being here, Jim. And then everybody else that is here, thank you so much for being here on a Wednesday afternoon, a weird stream doing on a Wednesday, but you know what? I love doing this. So thank you guys so much for being here. All right. So our last two videos for tonight will be quotes. This is the first time ever we're going to do this, having quotes back to back. And our first quote for tonight is for Bruce Lee, the martial artist. We all know who Bruce Lee is, all those movies. So we will go to his quotes then. And after that, Dr. Seuss will be the other of our quotes, and that will lead us, hopefully, to rating Tim, Gemma, and the Mental Health Hour. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the first quotes for tonight. And again, this is from Bruce Lee. His forgotten wisdom to strengthen weak character. That's what they titled it. So, but we all enjoy these quote segments, so hopefully you guys will enjoy them as well. So let's go ahead and get started with quotes.
Always forgivable if one has the courage to admit them. If you truly love life, don't waste time, because time is what life is made of. A goal is not always meant to be reached. It often serves simply as something to aim at. Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. Knowledge will give you power, but character respect. A wise man can learn more from a foolish question than a fool can learn from a wise answer. The key to immortality is first living a life worth remembering. Long-term consistency trumps short-term intensity. Those who are unaware they are walking in darkness will never seek the light. Be happy, but never satisfied. Life itself is your teacher, and you are in a state of constant learning. Don't fear failure. Not failure, but low aim is the crime. In great attempts, it is glorious even to fail. In the middle of chaos lies opportunity. Preparation for tomorrow is hard work today. Softness cannot be broken. Only the one who does something will learn something. Don't think. Feel. It's like pointing a finger at the moon. Don't focus on the finger, or you will miss this divine beauty. True friends are like diamonds, expensive and rare. False friends are like autumn leaves. They are everywhere. The less effort, the faster and more powerful you will be. It's not what you give, it's the way you give it. Freedom opens up to a person at the moment when he does not care what impression he should make. The truth has no way. The truth is alive, therefore changeable. Move like water. Freeze like a mirror. Answer like an echo. If you don't want to stumble tomorrow, speak the truth today. You should fear the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but you should fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. In order to control yourself, you must first accept yourself by going with and not against your nature. It is easy to criticize and break down the spirit of others, but to know yourself takes a lifetime. Only the self-sufficient stand alone. Most people follow the crowd and imitate. Empty heads have long tongues. A quick temper will make a fool of you soon enough. Nothing exists except here and now. Defeat is a state of mind. No one is ever defeated until defeat has been accepted as a reality. It is not the daily increase, but daily decrease. Hack away at the unessential. Notice that the stiffest tree is most easily cracked, while the bamboo or willow survives by bending with the wind. The teacher does not reveal the truth. He is the guide to the truth, which each student must discover for himself. A good teacher is only a catalyst. Life is wide and limitless. There is no border, no frontier. Simplicity is the highest degree of any art. Happy is not he who has all the best, but he who gets the best of what he has. A fight is not won by one punch or kick. Either learn to endure or hire a bodyguard. If you want to learn to swim, jump into the water. On dry land, no frame of mind is ever going to help you. The more we value things, the less we value ourselves. A good teacher protects his pupils from his own influence. Take things as they are. Punch when you have to punch. Kick when you have to kick. All knowledge simply means self-knowledge. Money has no meaning. They are just a tool to get what you want. And it is very important to understand what can and cannot be obtained with their help. Fear comes from uncertainty. We can eliminate fear within us when we know ourselves better. You will never get more out of life than you expect. Focus your thoughts on what you want and what you don't have. The moment is freedom. You should live freely from moment to moment, letting things happen and adjusting to them. Be gentle, but not submissive. Be strong, but not cruel. You have to come to terms with the possibility of death. You should stop dreaming about eternal spring. Then both summer and winter will bring happiness. To know oneself is to study oneself in action with another person. Knowledge is useless if it is not applied. And to achieve the goal, one desire is not enough. You also need to act. Choose the positive. You have a choice. You are master of your attitude. Choose the positive, the constructive. Optimism is a faith that leads to success. No one can hurt you until you let them. Inside yourself, on a psychological level, be nobody. Don't get set into one form. Adapt it and build your own, and let it grow. Be like water. Life is never stagnant. It is constant movement, unrhythmic movement, as we have constant change. Things live by moving and gain strength as they go. Instant respect is easily achieved by one who is not afraid to look his opponent in the eye. The doubters said, "Man cannot fly." The doers said, "Maybe, but we'll try." And finally soared in the morning glow, while non-believers watched from below. Don't mess with quiet people, because he who is quiet is humble in appearance only. To hell with circumstances. You should create opportunities. Always be yourself. Express yourself. Have faith in yourself. Do not go out and look for a successful personality and duplicate.
Okay. Alrighty. Tim Conrad has joined the room. just got back. Just got back home, as he said, and he's setting up the show now for the Mental Health Hour. I sent him a shout out. Make sure to give Tim a follow. But again, we will give him a raid once the Mental Health Hour starts. So make sure to give him a follow and stick around for the raid. Tonight they are doing. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I've read 20,000 quotes and picked the top 200 of them. We might do that one day. One day for 27 minutes, I'll do like all quotes, 200 quotes, and that might happen one day. Maybe it might happen on the season finale. We'll see. Let's see. Let's see if I can pull this up. Yes, so the mental health hour tonight, it will be once the internet starts rolling in, and it will pop up on the screen anytime soon. Um, but it will be, the show will start at 6 p.m. Tonight, so I will be able to rate them afterwards. And yeah, after we finish up the quote segment here and do some promos like what I'm about to do here right now, I saved this one. So um, make sure to join them tonight, or when I start to raid, they're going to be doing Living with Depression Part 3. And it's continuing our look at one of the most prominent mental health issues across the globe. I do agree. Depression is very serious. So I could be in favor. I've dealt with it. So probably not once, but plenty of times. So that is a very top issue, of course, to talk about and to have more of an education to it. So a very informative show tonight for them over there. So stick around for that. So and then we got Jim still in the comments, and again, Catalyst will be at 10 p.m. as well. Be in the candle, talk about your day, talk about various issues and all of that. So good stuff on a Wednesday night for you guys. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and go on to our last video for this evening. And I know Jim put some comments here, so I'm gonna get to them in a minute there. Excuse me. I think I never burped on stream. Well, excuse me. But all right, so we got Dr. Seuss coming up here with his quotes here, and let's see. So let me get the comments here. So yeah, Tim Shennett's setting up for the show. We will rate him after this and whenever he goes live. Jim says those quotes were awesome. Thank you, Jim. They were awesome. Very, very awesome. Tonight's mental health hour is a powerful topic. It really is. It really is. And Jim has depression too. Everybody I know has depression. Has to be. So it's again a very top issue to talk about. So very, very, very good show coming up in about 15 minutes, 14 minutes from now. So stick around. I will rate them and we will hear what they have to say for part 3 of the Depression Talk. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and round out our show tonight. Dr. Seuss quotes from, of course, Dr. Seuss, Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham, I want my spam, I don't know. But anyway, so let's go ahead. This is kind of short, so, but again, it's quotes, and it's very, very, very good. So let's make history. Part 2 of quotes start right now with Dr. Seuss. And let me get the right mouse, by the way, as well. All right, so here we go.
Cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. When something bad happens, you have 3 choices. You can either let it define you, let it destroy you, or you can let it strengthen you. The right direction for success and personal growth is the path that leads us to the answers within ourselves. Listen to these quotes by Dr. Seuss to enrich your life with his quotes. Sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. You have to be odd to be number one. To the world you may be one person, but to one person you may be the world. Life is too short to wake up in the morning with regrets. It is better to know how to learn than to know. Why fit in when you were born to stand out? Be sure when you step with care and great tact. And remember that life is a great balancing act. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Sometimes the questions are complicated and the answers are simple. Take every chance, drop every fear. A person's a person, no matter how small. Today, you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive that is youer than you. Everything stinks until it's finished. In your head is your brain. Your feet are in your shoes. You are in control of which direction to go. You are on your own, and you know what you know, and only you can decide where to go. Only you can control your future. Always remember, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and twice as beautiful as you've ever imagined. It is fun to have fun, but you have to know how. When a man does something stupid once, well, that's because he's a man. But if he does the same stupid thing twice, that's usually to impress some lady. You can get help from teachers, but you are going to have to learn a lot by yourself, sitting alone in a room. Reading can take you places you have never been before. I like nonsense. It wakes up the brain cells. Looking at life through the perspective of a child enables you to laugh at life's realities. Nothing is going to change unless someone does something soon. Everybody should be treated equally and with dignity, no matter the circumstance. Instead of focusing on areas of improvement, hone in on your strengths. You will be happier and more fulfilled than ever before. If you always have faith and trust in yourself, there's no limit to the places you will go. People will start missing you when they see how happy you are without them. Fill your house with stacks of books in all the crannies and all the nooks. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. We have collected these quotes by the prolific children's book author Dr. Seuss. His views and quotes about childhood and adulthood should be a non-changeable part of our lives.
All right, so those are your quotes from Dr. Seuss there, and very short quotes there, but some of them are very, very informative and very, very comedic there. As I took notes about the impressing ladies, be what stupid once you're a man, or do something once, do it again twice, and you impress a lady. I was like, oh, let me take a note of that. So I took notes on that one. It's like, oh, that's how you do it. All right. So there you go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the quotes there. We got a little bit more time though, but usually I will do plugs and stuff like that. So unfortunately, I am not on StreamYard. Y'all see here I'm on OBS tonight. So just trying something out. Like everything worked tonight for the first time on OBS. Working with OBS, everything worked. So I'm happy about that. So from the starting point to probably the new theme song, probably I just picked out, and all the way down. So everything worked great tonight. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. So since I do not have a pointer to say, hey, do this, all I'm going to tell you is this. I'll point it down. This is how do you like OBS? I like OBS. It will be it is a mind-boggling thing though. Don't push buttons. Sharon knows. If you see Sharon's comment there from what Randy does with OBS, it takes some patience. I will say that. If you try to know everything, it will be fine. It takes some patience on OBS. Like this graphics here, I got it from a website, and I forgot how I did it. It was probably pretty simple to put up, and some of the stuff was already embedded in there. So I kind of made it a little bit easier. However, I had to purchase it, and it was about what, $20 or something. And I'm saying I'm not wasting $20 for this to just sit and it can't work. And now, since I now have a second screen, I don't have anything else to override working OBS and then doing something different. And I think they did an update on OBS as well, and I think everything seems more smoother now. So, like I said, I'm going to give OBS a try and see how it is. But everything tonight seemed to work fine, which is awesome. But yeah, Sharon says don't push buttons like Randy on OBS. Then wants me to fix it. This is well true. So, but it takes time. If you have the mindset for it, it will work. So, but everything worked tonight, which is awesome. I wish I could help Randy, but I wish I could help him, but it's a process. So I have to be right there with him to help him out. But anyway, but with that saying, also now I get to use Stream Elements more, which is kind of awesome. So, so we'll see. We'll see how this goes. To use this to end out the season. We'll see how it goes. So with that, I do remember how I closed the shows out though. While we wait for a message for Tim to come on, I'm going to put the Discord site up, and so make sure to check out my Discord. Stuff you've seen from the show tonight will be on there, and from previous seasons, season 2 and this current season, and also Summer of Sunshine. I also do daily quotes. I am behind on daily quotes, which I will put up after the show as well, from the last week of February till today. Here's today's quote. I can't read it actually, but hopefully you guys can read it. So there you go there. So I do put those up every day. I'll try to every day if I don't get too busy, but I've been slacking off last week. So everything last week to today will be on there after the show. Again, Tim and Gemma, they will be coming up anytime now. And let me go ahead and let me go switch it back and put their ad up again. They'll be coming up next, and again, if this thing don't take too long to show up, they're doing again depression, part 3 depression. There we go. Living with Depression 3, continuing our look at one of the most prominent mental health issues across the globe that is coming up in about a couple minutes. So want to stay tuned for a raid for that. Stay tuned for that. Great show. Thanks, Race. Cheers. Thank you, Jim, for being here. And speaking of Jim, check him out. He will end out the train 10 p.m. with Catalyst, with the warm candle. And again, y'all get to check, clear your mind out about your day and all of that, topics and all that stuff. Jim's a great guy. And again, I said I wouldn't be streaming without him. So I appreciate him so much. So check out Jim in at 10 p.m. Glad you and the mental health tower have a mental health train going. Exactly. I'm glad too. I really enjoyed your show. Thank you, Sharon, so much. I'm glad you are here. So I thank you for being here. And actually, I should be. I don't know. Tim left early. I decided I should do some changes with some stuff here. So he's not on yet. So I'm gonna do some offers here. If you are still here, Sharon, would you like to be my mod? That's number one. Jim's a VIP. If he wants to be my mod, he can. Yes or no, it's fine. Tim left to do the show, but Tim, since we're all modding together, I think he wouldn't mind being a mod as well. I know he's busy with baby Penelope and all of that stuff, but I'll make him a mod as well. And Jane hasn't came on. Jane was on earlier, but maybe I could sure, I would enjoy it and be grateful. See? There you go. So let's do this. I could do it right now while we wait for Tim. How about that? Let's see here. Viewers, no. Community. It's community. Hold on. There we go. Roles manager. We'll put you on here real quick. Yeah. All right. At new. Sharon. Hold on. All right. Got to add the numbers. There we go. All right. All right, Sharon, you should be on it. Go ahead and test it out here. Just don't ask me to fix things. And no salads. All right, it worked. So Sharon's a mod. I think Jim left. He might have left. I don't know. But Jim and Tim has been subs for a long time. So I'm pretty sure I can advance them up to mods. And Jane as well. Jane, I put her as a VIP for a long time as well. So, and she knows her stuff. So, whenever she comes on, she probably don't mind it either. So, yeah, we're gonna advance some people up, save some VIPs. In case somebody don't want to do it, but I really be grateful for them to be on there. And I have to change the YouTube thing. Actually, I'm not going to change it because I'm behind on putting up my past episodes. So, I think I'm going to have to start doing that next week, catching up on my episodes and downloading them on my flash drive. So, I think that's what we're going to try. I'm going to try to do next week. If I'm barring, I don't have anything else important come up for me. So I think that's what we're going to do. All right, we're seeing a stream of people coming on. I don't see Tim and Gemma yet, so we'll wait for them again. But I will try to be back next week, which is I don't know because I didn't put my calendar. I'll be back next Tuesday night. Let's say that. Next Tuesday night, again, barring if nothing happens again, I'll be back next Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, and same stuff, positive stories, positive videos, all of that. And so Make sure to tune in next Tuesday night as we will kick off into March with more positive stories and videos. Now, I'm surprised Frank did not come in here. I'm going to rant now. Frank didn't come in here. He said, I'll be here at 4 o'clock. Thank God you did not have it at 8 o'clock because I'll be watching wrestling. And he said, I'll be here at 4 o'clock. It is now the end of my show. He has not showed up. So this is for Frank. I was ready to do jumping jacks. He says, I'm going to spam jumping jacks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And he didn't show. So I'm like, Frank, I go live at 4 p.m. Eastern. We're on the same time zone. What I got on here in the end. Hey, K9, how you doing? Yeah, you're here at the end. I'm just rambling, just waiting for Tim to come on. But stick around for Tim in the mental health hour. Stick around for him. But for me, just stick around probably for like a couple minutes if you want. He has a great topic tonight on depression. He's doing another topic on depression. So once he comes on and Gemma, stick around for them. They're very good people. I think you remember Tim, K9. He's been whispering me about points. He always does that. It was earlier though. And yeah, and he has points on here too. So he will usually be on here. All right, Tim is on. I'll hang out. All right. So Tim just got on. So we're going to go ahead and rate him. And again, tonight they're talking about depression. Again, it's a very good topic, a very good mental health topic. In my opinion, it's the number one thing in mental health to talk about. So we all go through it. So let's go ahead and give him a rate right now. He just started, and I know Gemma did some nice beginning stuff as well for the show, so we don't want to miss that. So I'm going to go ahead and get the raid tag started. And Tim Conrad 1, we got him on here. Let's go ahead and start the raid. All right. So there we go. So we're going to get ready to get started on that one. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, Sharon, K9, I know you came in late, but stick around for Tim and Gemma. Tim came in here earlier. He has to get ready for the show, of course. And anybody else I might have missed, thank you so much, all the lurkers. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the replay viewers. Really appreciate you guys so much. And I will see you guys next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, barring nothing happens till then. So 8 p.m. Eastern next Tuesday night. Let's go say hello to Tim. And I'm going to go ahead and use the stream end here. So till next time, be positive, be safe, take care of one another, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your night and a great rest of your week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.